So for those for those of you that are because obviously right now you're not watching this live because it takes a little bit for people to get involved and click on the channel and see what's going on. We are recording episode number 83 of Special and Lit Pinball Podcast right now. And we're going to start recording. We already have an interview in the can with Adam Schwartz. He's the dollar for dollar match donor for our fundraiser.
Friday, Saturday.
So, yeah. So right now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of show you how we do things prior to the editing process of the podcast.
All natural.
It's all natural. Now, what you're seeing here will not be the final edit that you'll listen to on the podcast, right?
No, we're gonna have we have to watch our jokes a little here though.
Well, yeah, we just got to be careful. It might be we're not doing this to interact with chat as much because we just want to kind of show you how we record the show, and we're gonna probably take the next 45 minutes and record about 2/3 of the show because we've got a third of the show which was kind of an interview that's in the can. So. I don't know, man. Without further ado, why don't we go ahead and
start recording?
Yeah, we'll start recording the podcast, and we'll see where the night takes us here as I'm just kind of closing out some windows. Can you see us doing live shows like on Twitch?
I kind of.
Really?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know. So I was just asking. I don't know.
Hey, if you're down for doing it, I'm down for doing it.
Live shows on Twitch?
Yeah. I mean, we got to be, a little more selective in our wording sometimes.
Right.
In
all of our industry secrets, they can't.
That can't air. Yeah.
They can't air. So why don't we? We'll go ahead and we'll start with. We'll start off with our opening. Talk about what we're doing currently. We'll get into the industry buzz, which is our news segment with our correspondents.
Hey man, I say hit record.
We'll recap that. And just
dude, this
see
is
where
just
it goes.
another day in the life of the podcast.
I'm just setting the tone for those that might be jumping in here. And right now it's 5:48 Central Time on Tuesday.
Yeah,
Tuesday. Monday. It's Monday, and so we'll have the show uploaded and ready to go. So. And we might be able to interact. So we might be able to interact a little bit in chat. So let's see where this goes. So right now we got microphone check 1, microphone check 1,
microphone check 2, microphone check 2,
chickadee check, microphone check 1,
chickadee check, microphone check 2.
We are good to go. Replica X, what's going on? Hey, you flipping up him all sweet calling. It's not a calling podcast. Real quickly, we're just gonna do a quick 2/3 back of the show here and see where it goes. So if we're not interacting in chat, it's because we're
recording a podcast.
We're recording a podcast, which will be edited up later. So are you ready, man?
Let me clear my throat.
Shall we play a game?
Let's do it.
All right. Hey, what's going on, Pinball Land? Welcome. It's episode number 83. That's 83 of the Special When Lit Pinball Podcast. My name is Ken Cromwell.
And I am Bill Webb.
And tonight we're doing something that's a little bit cutting edge for us. We are simultaneously recording episode 83, not only in Studio C, which is here, but we are broadcasting live on Twitch. Now, the way that this is going to work, Bill, is something that's going to be a little bit unique because we are going to kind of take these rough cuts, which everybody's going to see. You're going to see our fumbles and our mistakes, and you're going to see why we edit shows post-production style.
Absolutely.
Right? So where we're not going to be able, typically on Twitch, you would be interacting with chat. We're not going to be able to maybe do that as much as we normally would, but you'll kind of get a little background scene on what we do when we're recording these shows. So let me ask you this, Bill, because this is how we would typically open up the show. What is going on with Bill Webb?
It's been an interesting week. So
yeah, why is that? What's going on?
I didn't buy any more games. I mean, since the last
one.
Well,
that is an interesting week because Mr. Rockefeller over here has been bringing home pins every other week.
Well, dude, I scored a Twister on Friday. Came up on Facebook, and the guy was coming up to Chicagoland on Friday, and I'm like, hey, what can you do on this? So picked up a Twister.
Now Twister's been on your backlog list.
It's on like the list of B titles that I'd like to own at one point.
But I remember even meeting you, it was Whirlwind and Twister, and you imagining those pins side by side at some point. Now you've since kind of received the Whirlwind, restored it, and sent it on its way.
Yes.
So how is Twister comparing to Whirlwind in your opinion?
I haven't played it.
Makes sense.
In all honesty, man.
It makes sense.
It needed LEDs and a little bit of love. So
okay.
I just got the LEDs in it. I need a flipper rebuild kit just because It's not exactly where I'd like to be, but dude, it's all right. So
it's good.
Playfield's nice.
Awesome. So you've got Bill's Corner. We started last week, so I imagine as we progress through the following months, we'll get some updates on Twister.
No, you'll be getting updates on Transformers.
Oh, Transformers. All right, I forgot. You've got all these projects.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Speaking,
and another project next week that you know about, but that's okay. We'll dive into that later on.
I can't wrap my head around it. Speaking of projects, the Project Pinball fundraiser, charity fundraiser, is something that we've been working hard on too, and we'll talk more about that later in the show. We had an excellent phone call with Adam Schwartz just now, and Adam Schwartz is from the New York City pinball kind of scene. He's the guy that's doing the dollar for dollar match. So hang on to the briefly here. We'll get into that. But other than that, I mean, I'm just kind of anxiously awaiting this 24-hour stream. It's going to start on Friday the 20th at 6 o'clock Standard Time, or Central Standard Time.
Yes.
And it's going to go to 6 o'clock Saturday, which is the 21st Central Standard Time. It's a lot of work, and I'm looking forward to seeing it through and being able to hopefully relax on Sunday.
I look forward to the recap.
Yes, me too.
Seeing how it all pans out.
You think we hit the $24,000 goal?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Let's go ahead. Let's get in. Yeah?
I think so, man. I don't.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that. I have my expectations.
I got you. Let's get into the pinball news.
Let's do it.
Okay, so at this point, we would edit in which are our correspondence segments, and our correspondence we have with American Pinball is Brian Cosner. He covers American Pinball for us. Dr. John covers Spooky Pinball for us. We have Ken Rudberg, who covers Jersey Jack Pinball for us. We've got Chris Chandler, who just came on at Deep Root, and then we have Craig Bobby, who's covering Stern. So at this point, we have already kind of listened to these the correspondence segments, but you have not as of yet. No. So I'm going to play the correspondence segments now. And again, this will be kind of studio produced and updated later
it gets
into
cut
the
in.
podcast. Right. So let's go ahead and we'll let you guys listen in on this now, and then it's a lot more of a smoother transition once we edit the show.
Getting the news from around the industry in this week's Industry Buzz.
Hi, this is Ken Rudberg with your Special and Lit Jersey Jack update. With the popularity of Pirates of the Caribbean and lots of satisfied owners, it appears that there's much more demand than supply for that machine. Prices are reaching well into the 5 figures if you can find it, and there's been a lot of interest in another run. One person has even gone so far as to create a Jersey Jack Bring Pirates Back Facebook page. Unfortunately, sorry to disappoint people, but Jersey Jack himself has said there will be no more runs of Pirates of the Caribbean, which is not surprising with Guns N' Roses and potentially Toy Story in the works for next year. On a related note, some owners have spotted at least 2 hidden Mickeys within the artwork of the machine. This is not surprising because Pirates of the Caribbean films are created by Disney, and they tend to do that when they make a new property. It'll be interesting to see if any more show up. This has been Ken Rudberg with your Jersey Jack update.
Hey, this is Kaz with an American Pinball update. Work continues on the Flying Dutchman Redemption game. They are making some adjustments and improvements to the design. And also, merchandise with the new mascot Amy Penn is now available for purchase. But the big rumor of the week is that American Pinball is potentially working on a Hot Wheels pinball machine. I did reach out for an official confirmation, but they did not confirm or deny the rumor. There have been a few rumored titles in the works, and there's definitely excitement for this new release. We will continue to wait for an official announcement. For American Pinball, this is Brian Cosner.
Could this be the week Stern goes to the Upside Down and Ghostbusters gets stranger? Hey guys, Craig here again, your Special and Lit Stern News correspondent. Well, with 2 confirmed new titles for 2020 in Raza from Deep Root and Rick and Morty from Spooky, photos emerged this week on Facebook of an unmarked pinball machine-sized box appearing in the Stern warehouse, implying that Stern is already in production mode of some new title and readying units to be in time for Santa's Upside Down shipment on Christmas Eve. So could this be the week that Stern reveals their next hotly rumored title of Stranger Things? And will this announcement end up sending our own Ken Cromwell into the Upside Down himself from sheer dream theme excitement? We shall wait and see. And isn't it ironic that the new Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer, which was dropped earlier this week, has a distinctly Stranger Things feel to it? The new film even goes so far as to cast one of the teen leads of Stranger Things, fellow Canadian Finn Wolfhard, who also has one of the coolest names in Hollywood, as one of the main characters in this latest installment of the Ghostbusters franchise. It doesn't take a genius to predict that Stern would be foolish not to cash in on this hot throwback theme and vault one of the most popular titles in Ghostbusters sometime in 2020. Even the title Ghostbusters Afterlife screams out for Stern to vault the original. Lots to consider and ponder as we charge toward an exciting finish to the 2019 pinball season. That's all for this week. For Special When Lit, I'm Craig Bobby. Catch you on the flip side.
Hello again, and I hope you are as half as excited I am at today's reveal of the Rick and Morty pinball machine by Spooky. It shows the playfield in its entirety with some action and some of the custom callouts that are occurring, and a separate post shows the art of the cabinet with the custom armour, which is on the Bloodsuckers edition. I don't want to go through the game, as this is be seen by pretty much everybody by the time you hear this, but as listed, there's an interactive ship on a spring, as seems to be the want of toys nowadays. There's the Smith's house sculpted in the back with the new Denisi Mark II lock, which looks to be a horseshoe with stand-up targets at either entrance. Interesting. The anticipated left slingshot pop bumper is present, and a MagnaSave on the right outlane, controllable by the extra flipper button on the right, which is in the correct position, as opposed to a lockdown bar, which I'm too slow to press. Anti-gravity device is the MagnaSave. There's the slam ring, I'm not quite sure what that is, and of course the portal entry is up the top left around the garage shot from the top flipper, which ejects into the left in lane via the ball trough, which was seen under the play field. Custom voiceovers, adventures from the series with video clips from the series, the Denisi music, and the HD LCD as listed make this a must-have game in my books, but it won't be to everyone's taste, and you get to decide. Looking forward to pricing information, which should be out tomorrow via email for fan club members. Catch you all next week.
Well, there you have it, Bill. A lot of information from the
Wow, I
correspondence.
don't even know if I can digest all of it.
Especially Dr. John. I like how this is Dr. John's delivery is always fascinating to me, because he's like, I hope that you're all as excited as I am right now. And it sounds like he's sitting down on the couch, drinking a glass of wine and having a stogie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it doesn't seem like he's like pumped up going crazy,
and
because he's very reserved. He has to be in his line of work.
But you know what? He lives the furthest out of everybody.
Yeah.
And he covers like one of the closest, well, not the closest, but a manufacturer
Right.
that's 2 hours from us.
That was funny because Chuck from Spooky Pinball and Chuck and his family, they own Spooky Pinball. He always thought it was odd that our correspondent for his company is, to your point, probably lives the furthest away than anybody else that could potentially cover that company for him.
Yes.
But he's got an established relationship, and then it's Dr. John with everybody at Spooky.
And dude, he's on point every week.
Absolutely. So let's get into the license or the reveal now of Spooky Pinball's Rick and Morty. Now, since we last spoke, I believe you said you had not had any time really to kind of get into the series, or you haven't seen any of the episodes, correct?
I still have not.
Okay, so you still have not.
I've listened to some people's description of the show.
Right.
And actually, he's a interesting character. The poo poo something.
Oh, see, so you're going to have to watch some episodes at some point. With all the time that you're awake, you're going to have to stream this on your phone at.
Have you started watching it?
Yes. So I'm on season 2 right now. Now this is the thing with Rick and Morty. It's not a terrible watch, and every episode is pretty different. So if you find something within an episode that isn't calling to you, 22 minutes later at max, you've got something else that's a completely different adventure. And as far as the humor goes, it's going to call to certain people. It's not going to call to certain people. But I can tell you this, nobody's going to be able to describe the license to you. You're going to have to experience it yourself.
Yeah.
So whatever you hear on podcasts, like, for instance, I listened to This Week in Pinball today, and Zach Meny did an excellent job of kind of deep diving the pin, and he had a lot of outtakes that he was playing with, like, music and whatnot. that's not going to be as effective as if you watched the episode and you understood what was happening.
You know, I've seen, like I said, I've seen some of the YouTube stuff, and it looked pretty funny. So we'll see.
And-
I will
Right.
I will have to watch it.
So, and during this episode, for those of you that are listening to the podcast versus watching the podcast, we're able to kind of look on Twitch and we can see viewer comments right now. So Zach from Flippin' Out Pinball wanted to remind us that the name is Mr. Poopy Butthole
Yes.
as the figure that you're actually you're talking about. Now, normally after we would hear the correspondence segment, as we heard it just now, we would then kind of reorganize our thoughts. Typically, we'll take the most pertinent story and we'll play that last because it creates a nice little lead in for us to get into that story. And then we'll discuss the other segments that were discussed. Right now, with Spooky Pinball being the most interesting or time pertinent segment, newsworthy segment, we're going to get into Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
So, and as you can see, it can go either way. I'm checking out my notes. And again, this is how we do kind of the editing process. All right, so the Rick and Morty pinball reveal took place at kind of a strange time to me.
Well, they did it a few different ways too. They showed the bottom of the play field one day.
Right, so that was the first exposure we really had to the game.
Correct.
Underside of the play field. That's when a lot of people started speculating, hey, one of those slingshots is actually a pop bumper.
Correct.
Right. Now, as I was waiting, and I'll go into last night, this being Monday, Sunday, I'm just not expecting a pinball game or pinball machine title to be revealed on Sunday night.
No, but
Right.
yet what do you find on 8 o'clock? What was it, like 5 or 6 o'clock at night?
So I got a message from somebody and they're like, you ready for the spooky reveal? And I'm like, yep. It's like, it's going to be any minute. And I'm like, figuratively or literally? It's like, it's not going to be any minute. It's Sunday night. Like, why would they do that?
Yeah.
It's like, well, why wouldn't they do that? So I jump on Spooky's Facebook page and there's like a picture of a coffee cup and it's like Rick and Morty. It's like, hey, get your caffeine ready. It's going to be a long night. Da, 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 da. But I know that Rick and Morty season 4 is on Adult Swim right now, Cartoon Network. So I'm assuming, all right, get your cup of coffee ready because we're all going to watch this episode of Rick and Morty and it's celebrating the license.
Yeah.
In no way did I really think that like the pinball machine was getting revealed on Sunday night. Now I'm at an appointment somewhere else and the game's revealed and Bill, we have a pinball podcast. Like this is our e-entertainment, right?
Yeah.
So we're ready to kind of knock this out and I'm waiting for the reveal. I'm out on Sunday night. The game's revealed, like everybody's got this hype going on, and I come home and I'm picking up the pieces of a reveal of a pinball machine. It was just kind of strange to me that they weren't like, listen, it's happening tonight, so get ready. It was like, again, it was a cryptic kind of message where it could have been taken either way. If they didn't reveal the machine that night and it was just celebrating another episode of Rick and Morty, they could have gotten away with it.
Oh yeah.
But it was a full pinball reveal.
And dude, it had a lot of comments, man.
Yes.
So
Yeah. So
people were paying attention.
now you're in an interesting situation where you were privy to not only see the Whitewood, but you played the Whitewood. And if you don't feel comfortable speaking of this, I understand, but I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Okay.
I'm curious as to your feedback, seeing the Whitewood, playing the Whitewood, and now seeing the production video that was released.
I don't think a whole lot has changed.
Okay. So it's kind of what you played.
There's still
Obviously without artwork and toys and that
which
sort
was
of thing.
a different experience, man. Because I've never really flipped a Whitewood before, other than like TNA Whitewood.
Right.
But I mean, there's still one mech in there that I got to talk to Scott, but I don't know if he's really discussed how that's worked yet.
Okay. I like that.
But I mean, it's in there, and just I don't think we'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
we'll leave that as Scott's thing to.
I appreciate the fact that you're cognizant of them revealing the game as they see fit.
That's their
You're
time.
not looking to steal thunder. You're not looking. Yeah, I get it.
I mean, I think looking at the game, it is a night and day difference seeing it with artwork.
Right.
Knowing the theme now, because I thought it was Haunted House Party or Pitch Perfect, as we talked about a year
Pitch
and a half
Perfect,
ago.
right.
But yeah, dude, I'm happy for Scott. I'm happy for Charlie. Dude, it's amazing that they sold out in 5 hours? It seems
so
like?
the update is the 750 games that were released have now all been accounted for. So Spooky Pinball has pre-sold, at least they've taken deposits down for 750 games.
Yeah.
It's got to be some type of a record, obviously for them personally, because they've never made 750 of anything.
No.
They've taken deposits for 750, and they want to bang these out over, I think it's 18
A year and a
months.
half, yep.
So, yeah, it's unbelievable.
Yeah, I'm hoping that they can knock them out even faster, in all honesty.
Was there anything that was on the play field All right, so let's take a look. I'm not going to deep dive this. There are a lot of people that went very in depth with this, and I just want to get some general feedback and some general discussion on the title. Was there anything there that stood out to you as, whoa, this is awesome? And was there anything that stood out to you where you're like, that's kind of puzzling?
Like the house, and I like the garage. So, are you talking about it in its current state, right?
Yeah, right, exactly. So what you saw.
I think the Bloodsucker edition artwork, powder coating and all that's beautiful. I like the artwork.
So you do like the purple artwork
I do.
on there.
This
the
is why
trim.
I'm like kind of like biting my tongue here, because if I actually like this show, dude, I'm going to be pissed I missed out on one of these. You know?
Oh, if you like the show?
If I like if I really love
gotcha.
the show, you know, someone's going to make a mint off me.
For those of you that are just coming in the chat, we are literally we're doing kind of our it's our podcast episode 83. We're just kind of showing you how we go about recording our podcasts, and then this is all pre editing. So we thought it would be fun to do it live on Twitch, and so I've got Bill Webb here. The edited show will come up at some point tomorrow, but this is what we're at right now. We're talking about Rick and Morty.
Looking forward to seeing the people's reactions on the podcast to see that they could actually watch what we were talking about.
Yeah,
on
it's
TV.
just it's a fun little experiment. So it's kind of like behind the scenes of Special When Lit.
We'll see what happens next week, though.
Yeah, we'll see what happens next week. Going back to the license, though, let me ask you your opinions because, okay, so Star Wars came out and there was the TIE Fighter on a spring.
Which caught a lot of crap.
A lot. And because it was Star Wars, it was a huge license. There were so many people that were passionate about license. You had to kind of, I don't know that there's like a main toy on that game other than the Hyperloop. But if you had a Pro, you didn't have a Hyperloop.
Yeah.
You had the TIE Fighter on the spring. Now we see Rick and Morty come out, and there is the ship on a spring. Walk me through your feelings or comparisons between the TIE Fighter on a spring and the ship on a spring that Spooky is currently offering on the game.
I didn't have a big problem with the ship on a spring, but I like the Rick and Morty ship on, with the changing lights and whatnot.
That's where I think it's differentiates
It's
fairly
not
well.
just a cheap, cheesy Walmart toy that,
Right.
know, is mounted to a spring,
It's cool because if you look at the ship, like you said, you've got independent RGB lighting on each of the headlights, left and right.
Correct. Yep.
You also you've got
And behind the
RGB lighting
windows.
in the dome.
Yep.
And then it's kind of cool because if you get the right view, like which is front end of the ship, you absolutely see the silhouette of Rick and Morty inside the spacecraft. And I think it's so cool. Now, I think the game lends itself well for a lot of add-ons outside of what Spooky's offering, because they're offering speaker grill kits, and you've got your Bloodsucker edition, which gives you the purple armor, which you said you are a fan of.
Dude, in the next 2 weeks, people are going to have mods for this game.
I kind of liked the standard edition armor versus the purple.
Really?
You know what I think the game could use? And again, I'm excited to play the game, but if I had to be picky, I would ask that, especially on the Bloodsucker edition, that purple really pops. And when you look at the speaker panel, which is now like an easy access panel that kind of comes down, and I'm sure this is something that the mod community could make, but even Spooky, I know Charlie's in printing. How about like some type of a decal that kind of covers up some of that plate? Now, you don't want to cover up all your powder coat, but you could do something tastefully to kind of fill in some of the space there. But again, that's just me being nitpicky without playing the game and realizing what I might like and what I might not like.
Okay, so what I was thinking in my mind, I like the purple, so to me that doesn't bother me.
Okay.
I'd have to have it in front of me to really be critical on that. But considering that the games weren't limited, there weren't 375 Bloodsucker editions and standards. What's to say the standard isn't actually the limited?
Well, there's 750 pins, and I was trying to remember, because I was trying to keep track of numbers today. There might be like 500 or 600 of them that end up being Bloodsuckers. Because if you're trying to jump the line or get in the front,
The only way you were going to do it was getting a Bloodsucker.
Well, there's a multi-step tier system. First you got to get into the Fang Club, and then you got to jump in and you got to get the Bloodsucker edition.
Yes.
And then typically you would have had to have gotten like the Butter Cab, which is $1,000 upgrade. But I think since then, because the Butter Cabs are always done in batches, I think I read that they brought the Butter Cab process, which is essentially clear coating the cabinet.
Yes.
They brought that in-house. So it's not as important to, batch those out necessarily.
Yeah.
So, but when it's all said and done, you're looking at a game. If you put in all your add-ons, okay, your Bloodsucker edition, your Butter Cab, you're at $9,000 if you bling this thing out.
Before mods.
No,
Before
well,
aftermarket mods.
Aftermarket mods.
Yes.
$9,000 for Rick and Morty. And I had to take a step back today when I heard that. And it's not because I don't think Spooky deserves to charge more for their games. It was just interesting to me because it always seemed like Spooky was almost at some points undercutting themselves on the price for the better good of the community. And it's not that they've gone to the dark side of the force, but it seems as if they realize the power of
LEs or limited
for the lack
stuff.
of a better term, they have.
Well,
and $9,000 for Rick and Morty.
what
man.
are you going to see more of? Let's backtrack this, okay?
Okay.
More Wonka LEs and collector's editions or standards? I mean, that's a little different just because of the price is significant on that game. Let's take it back to Pirates of the Caribbean.
In limited numbers. So, okay, Pirates of the Caribbean.
They sold 2,000 allegedly, right? How many of those were LEs and collectors, and how many were standards?
I don't know. I don't know the numbers. I don't know that we ever know the exact numbers.
No, I
mean, you can guesstimate based on what you're hearing in the community, but 750 Rick and Morty, some of them getting to $9,000. And I think the baseline model is like $7,000. Like if you just kind of,
Yeah.
And at that point, you're probably getting something on the second end of the 18 months, which is fine. Like, I don't know if people have bought games today and they figured out what number they are, but I would imagine that the first 20 or 30 of these that are going to go out are going to be highly sought after. And then there is that ability to kind of sell your spot in line and almost scalp your ticket, so to speak,
hoping not.
and grab a couple $1,000s more. Whereas as the production progresses and you get towards, but the other thing I was thinking was this with the license, this is because there's not anything like it. Like if you're not like, well, if I don't get Rick and Morty, I guess I'll get Houdini. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. Like if you're a fan of the game,
If you're a fan of the theme and the layout,
the theme, right?
yeah. Well, what is it?
Does
theme
it really
or is it
matter
layout?
if you wait 18 months? Well, it's
If it's your dream
Right.
it's your dream theme,
Right.
no, you don't care how long it takes.
right now it is the theme that has sold the game. And then this teaser video, because the other thing is like, so the video that we saw that was released today gave you kind of an idea of like what's going on the machine, but I did not feel like I got like an overview of what's happening with the game. And I'm not even talking about rule set, but maybe I missed it today, but I did not see even like an overhead shot of the full playfield like I did on the underside of the playfield. Like I would like to be able to kind of take that in as a whole. Now, obviously, when I'm playing the game, I'm not floating above the game at 90 degrees looking down. I'm at an angle, but I guess what it comes down to is
We got to play the thing, man.
we got to play the thing. And then where is the play? When do we see it played? Is it a stream? Is it from Spooky? Because they cut and directed their own promotional video, and that's kind of what we saw. But when do we see gameplay? When do we do that? Does it just show up at a show? Does it come to CES,
I'm gonna
which
go
is happening in
dude,
Vegas?
I'm going to call Scott tonight and be like, "Hey, man, when do I get to see this?"
Yeah, it's
sucker?
not a bad idea. We're only 20 minutes down the street
No,
from.
I'm kidding. He
from
might
Scott.
be like, "Hey, you have to wait," but
I don't know. So I guess I'm excited about Rick and Morty as a theme. I'm excited about what I've seen so far, but again, I'm still waiting to pass my final judgment on the game, obviously, until we play it.
Yeah.
But at the very least, I'd like to be able to digest it more as a whole instead of kind of snippets of little pieces of the game. So,
I like the artwork. I like the layout.
oh, let's
I
get
think-
into the artwork. You like the playfield artwork?
I do. I think it was very, very well done.
Really?
I do. I like it.
Okay.
Dude, playing the game beforehand with no animations, it's just literally shot here, whatever.
Right.
Then, seeing it with that artwork, I really, really do like the artwork, and I think it's on point. So
the artwork for me, because I think what I'm used to, the artwork looked very segmented, like in just micro parts all over the place.
it is, but I kind of like that. It's a different feel than what we've been getting.
Gotcha. I guess I'm just kind of used to like a focal point in the middle of a play field, which kind of branches out and dissipates into smaller. This just looks like it's a bunch of small pieces. That being said, it makes sense with the theme because when you think of Rick and Morty, there's really not anything that's cohesive as a whole. It's broken up into small pieces. So I don't know that would be my preferred art style. But that being said, I don't know that I can think of any better way to really
layout.
approach it.
Yeah.
So again, and it's going to be like I want to be exposed I don't want to expose myself in front of the pin, but I'd like to be exposed to the pinball machine as a whole and see what's going on. But well, let's see what happens. Let's give this another week to breathe. Let's come back and revisit it. Maybe we get a chance to kind of jump on this thing, and maybe we don't. Now we think about what's up next, right? Because we're always thinking about what's the next best thing. For those of you that are in chat right now with Twitch, we're not purposely ignoring your messages. We're literally recording our podcast, Special When Lit, episode 83. We're giving you an idea of what happens behind the scenes before we go in and re-edit everything, and then the podcast gets released tomorrow. So it's just kind of a sneak preview. I appreciate that you guys are here, and it's just a little bit of experience. Hey, Ryan Wagner, thanks for the follow.
Thank you,
Ryan
Ryan.
Winger. No, hey, good. Comet. Good times. So let's do this. As I I'm going to go into... What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to get into the Stern counter with the release, and then we'll talk about the rumored Stranger Things and all that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Make sense? Okay. All right. Ready?
Yep.
All right. So we've got Spooky. They kind of laid it out there. We know what to expect. Now, what we don't know what to expect right now is...
what the hype train's bringing next.
Right. And hey, Fox Kane, thanks for the follow. Or Fox Kalen? Fox Kalen. Awesome. Well, we don't know what's coming. Faux Callan. Yeah, you know what? I don't know how to read. I don't. Let me pour another beer in my eye. So what we don't know what's coming next is the next release, and speculation is that Stern Pinball is just on the cusp of showing us something, and that something has been heavily rumored now.
Well, they've been starting their trolling a little bit
as Stranger Things. And now, who's starting trolling? Because I'm a big fan.
Well, I mean, you saw the picture on Facebook of a box that was covered up, which means that. In my mind, right? You saw this. We're not making stuff up.
Okay.
When Stern gets ready to reveal a game, what do? They start shipping overseas.
Give it to IGN. Oh yeah, I'm sure there are games already headed overseas
that no one's seen yet. Well, publicly seen.
Right.
And the IGN was right too.
Right. So the games are. So right now, games are on the water, is what you're thinking.
If not, they're real close to being on the water.
Okay. Hey, thanks for the follow, Cletus1410. So you think games are on the water?
Yes.
Okay. When we say games are on the water, that means they're going to Australia, they're going to Europe, because what normally happens, Stern tries to have as close to a simultaneous release overseas as they can domestically here within the United States. We hear Stranger Things as being heavily rumored. We hear Brian Eddy as potentially being the designer on that. Does Stranger Things, in your opinion, if it's released, detract away from what Spooky Pinball has given us with Rick and Morty?
No, dude, they already sold their $750.
That's exactly it. They're sold out.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter anymore. Like, Spooky hit the jackpot because this is what they do. They jumped out ahead. They released a game that has enough interest and passion in the theme where they sold everything out. And at this point, it doesn't make a difference what any other manufacturer does.
They sold their run.
Worst case scenario, somebody pulls out and their deposit is still there.
So but you tell me that you don't think somebody's going to come in and swoop that up? At some point, there's going to be a secondhand market for a spot in line.
Oh,
whether it's
absolutely.
$1,500,
sure, you're not going to have
$750 or $2,200.
Yep,
they're making all $750. It's a small enough run. Supply and demand dictated that those games are going to get sold regardless.
See, the thing is too, and we'll get back to Stern, but the way that the model's set up, you've got your deposit in. You're not paying in full for your machine away 18 months.
No, but they make you put some skin in the game so you don't back out of it.
Well, exactly. And if you do back out of it, they've got enough skin in the game where it's not a total loss for them and they can find somebody else.
Yeah.
So I totally get it. Now, if we're going to get something from Stern Pinball, what is today? I look at the date. It's December 16th. Okay. So we have roughly
15 days.
You figure, 8 days until you get into like Christmas Eve area, because unless you're going to reveal a pin, do you reveal something prior to Christmas so that distributors can get Christmas orders in? To me, it makes total sense to do that because you've brought this up before. What happens is after the holidays, there's kind of a lull in consumer spending. You're paying off these Christmas
credit card bills,
and the next jump I think sometimes comes around after
tax
people
season.
File tax season,
Dude,
right?
So the best time to buy a pinball machine,
is
January 1st through like March 15th.
Where people
when
need
people start getting their refund,
pay some taxes.
Hey, you laugh, but it's a true statement.
No, I
man.
get it.
These are toys. These are non-essential items to survive.
I get it. So do we see something revealed here in the next week? Because 7 days, 8 days, you're already into Christmas. You missed the window. At the very least, listen. If Stern is saying, "Hey, listen, Ken, we know you love Stranger Things, and if we release Stranger Things, or we know you love, I don't know, Jersey Jack's like, we know you love Guns N' Roses. If we release Guns N' Roses, we want you to buy that for your family, but it's actually for yourself, right? Because I want to be like, hey, I bought a Guns N' Roses pinball machine. But we need to be able to do that for you before Christmas time because you need to buy a present. And even though you might not have the game in hand, you can at least say, hey, well, I'm glad you guys liked your iPads and your PlayStation 5s and all that stuff.
The new bicycle.
But the main gift that I got you guys is
Here's
coming
a
in
picture.
January.
Here's a flyer.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But you need to be able to get that on the books. Otherwise, you don't justify it as a Christmas present anymore because you've missed the window of opportunity. Now you're just spending for some families frivolously or carelessly.
Yeah. Selfishly.
So we got to see something here before Christmas. I mean, and distributors have to be able to sell it.
All right. So here's the flip side of that, though.
Right.
So you drop Stranger Things in 9 days, right? That leaves you 6 days.
Do you think it is Stranger Things? Can I just ask you straight up?
Sure, why not?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Everyone else is talking about it.
I
so,
know. Why aren't we talking about it more? But anyways, go ahead.
But nonetheless, do you think it has potential to win Game of the Year? Being that it will be so close to voting and everything else, or do you think it's already discounted out?
Well, I mean, this is the thing. So when we talk about Game of the Year, we talk about for the Twippies, which is the This Week in Pinball Yearly Awards. The Twippies vote starts in January. So now I don't think the game gets into enough people's hands where they're able to play it, whatever it is, to qualify for Game of the Year. I wonder how that would work, though, too. So, like, for instance, what if it was an outstanding game, but it didn't gain traction because it was only in people's hands for a few days before the end of the year? Would that be able to carry over to next year, or because it was revealed this year, like it lost out? I have no idea.
I don't know, man. I think that's going to depend on release date.
Yeah.
January 1st is, the start of the new
I don't even think,
year.
like, if Rick and Morty dropped today and everybody had Rick and Morty's, I don't even know if that has enough at 750 units. No. I don't know if that has enough to dethrone what I think will be Game of the Year, which is Jurassic Park and Keith Elwin's efforts. And it's interesting, too, because now you're starting to see this. You're starting to see, we saw the sophomore effort from Keith Elwin, which was Jurassic Park, the follow-up to Iron Maiden. We're about to see Eric Minier's next game at some point next year. And now we've seen Scott Denise's follow up, his sophomore effort, not in its entirety, but like clips. So what I think we're going to notice as we get into 2020 is we're going to see that each one of these designers have something that's very kind of special and unique to them. And you'll really kind of be able to decipher if all three of these guys or any of these guys are designers that you're going to be passionate about following. They all kind of have their unique characteristics, which you'll finally be able to kind of base some judging on as we get into 2020.
And they're all different layouts so far for the second effort.
Right.
Which I really like. It's not the same recycled kind of approach.
I think what you're also going to see is you're going to see maybe not skill set, because I think all these guys are very, very educated and intricate guys. But what I think you're going to be able to kind of notice is their approach on a design and what they think is a complete design. I think you're going to see very distinctive avenues in which all three of these guys kind of break off into. And I think you're going to have guys in all three camps. And what I'm curious about is if you compare all three of these guys as sophomores, and you had to rate these guys in a ranking system, where they would rank. And then the other thing is, Bill, as we get into 2020, pretty confident we're going to see a new designer come up through the ranks. We're going to see somebody fresh and somebody new. Without getting very detailed into that, I've got a little bit of intuition that says that somebody's coming. So we'll see where that takes us. So
sounds
that's
like
all
some
fun.
insider trading, but whatever.
No, it's not insider trading. American Pinball. Brian Cosner is still talking a little bit about Flying Dutchman. Curious to see how the Redemption game does when it's out in the wild. And then Joel de Guzman. So now he's the artist that created the character Amy Pin, right?
Yes.
She's the new mascot for American Pinball. Joel de Guzman is he's doing that. He's drawing Amy Pin. Stern. All right, let's see. Where do you want to go from here?
We kind of forgot Hot Wheels.
Yes, that's where I want.
I mean, we need to talk about that.
Yeah, see, and this is where we edit. We don't edit me going, or we do edit me going like that. So let me lead back into that. Okay.
Yep.
All right. So with American Pinball, we've got the Flying Dutchman. It's their latest and greatest, and it's their redemption game. Amy Pin, again, Joel de Guzman, she's out there in full effect. But we are waiting on their next rumored title, which it's hit the podcast waves and the social media waves. The teaser is Hot Wheels is potentially coming. Now, you heard Brian say, hey, listen, I reached out to American Pinball. They can't confirm or deny. That sounds like Zach Sharp's answering emails over there at American Pinball, right?
Absolutely.
We can't confirm or deny if it is Hot Wheels. We haven't really gotten into Hot Wheels because we were waiting to see how the story was going to grow. In your opinion, Bill, is Hot Wheels something, when we think about Rick and Morty, we think about the potential of a Stranger Things being released, how does Hot Wheels play a role within the three themes?
I don't... See, the evil side of me, dude's like picturing a blue cabinet, the Hot Wheels logo on the side. You look down into the playfield, you see some orange crazy ramp loops with, some Hyperloop magnets or getaway magnets, throwing the ball around and getting crazy nuts. You'd still have to license. The hard part for that theme for me is what cars do you license to throw into that pinball machine?
That's the thing. Like, do you get the licenses for the
Mustang
cars?
Or Z28 or Chevy, Lamborghini, any of these guys.
That's where,
so how do you?
Yeah, I speculate. Do they make their own muscle cars or their own cars in the spirit of Hot Wheels? Because now you're looking at like a George Gomez Jurassic Park Jeep kind of redraw, where it's in the spirit of what is going on. I don't know if that plays, if that plays off as well. Are people looking at Hot Wheels because of the theme, or are they looking at the theme and then the cars that were licensed within the Hot Wheels trademark? Like, I don't know how that works.
So I don't know, man. I kind of have the thought of playing cars with my son one day and being like, oh, guess what I bought? Come check this pinball machine out.
Right.
Orange ramps and some crazy stuff. Or, dude, I see, this is going to sound crazy, and maybe they've done this or not, and if they have, no, I didn't get insider info. Like a ramp shifting inside of there, dude, balls doing this crazy
how about like
stuff.
a jump
It'd be a real
ramp
stop
that
and flow game.
breaks through the playfield glass and just the car
shatters
just
on you,
ricochets off your chest.
I love it, man.
You know what I thought would be cool is if, and this would be very easy to do, if you wanted to customize your Hot Wheels playfield, they could just have spots where you could place a Hot Wheels car. I mean, because they're all kind of from the same kind of size and mold. And what if you had a Hot Wheels garage that was like a display case with RGB lighting, and you could go out and you could buy one of thousands of Hot Wheel cars, and you could stick 5 of them in a showcase because now they're not paying for the license. But they have a built-in display case for your favorite Hot Wheels that you could change out whenever you wanted.
Yeah, your Hot Wheels with the red line wheels.
If you wanted a 50s or 60s or 70 muscles car lineup, you could. If you wanted emergency vehicles with an ambulance and a police car and a fire truck, you could set those up in your garage, and you could just change those out.
That would actually be really cool.
I think that's where it could be very, very cool, because now you're building your own display case. That's a playable display case within the Hot Wheels theme.
So, all right, I love that idea. So, but do you remember the Hot Wheels, dude, that were like the hypercolor? You stick it underwater, dude. And
like half
water.
of it, and it would be
dude,
right.
it goes in white, comes out orange or
Yes, I do
purple.
remember
And dude, if they could pull some like paint off like that in there, making it change color would be kind of cool.
That would.
I don't know how they would do it, but dude, that would be like such a throwback.
So, full disclosure, like initially when I hear Hot Wheels as a license, it doesn't get me as excited as other licenses, and I think it's just going to really depend on their approach,
their ingenuity
to the license,
on
how they're going to effectively be able to take advantage of a license that could have the most limited amount of assets of anything else, because you can't, most likely you're not getting Chevy or Ford or Jeep or all these companies on board to let you utilize their vehicles.
No, but dude, if you got, a car from each manufacturer and told them what you're doing, dude, and said, hey, in the spirit of Americana, can we use, your 67 Mustang, 67 Camaro?
Yeah, right.
Throw a Charger in there, and just have those 3 iconic pieces in there. I mean, of course, it'll never fly. But, dude, from what we just came up with, tell me you wouldn't be excited to see, like, some, your display case, some changing color.
Sure.
Or even the ramp, dude, having that changing color paint, dude, and just applying electricity to it so it changes the color because it would heat up. That would actually work.
That would be actually pretty cool.
Yeah.
Man, hey, you got to design a Hot Wheels
We're
car.
going to have to edit
or
this
Hot Wheels
out.
track.
So, y'all, we're going to delete this. But
what are we deleting?
No, I'm kidding.
No. So at this point in the show, we would typically go to like a drain it or save it. This week we don't have a drain it or save it segment, but at this point I would like to probably wrap the show up because
Yeah.
with the interview that we have in the can with Adam Schwartz, he's the guy that's doing the dollar for dollar match on our fundraiser. That brings this episode right at an hour, and that's where we try to kind of keep it at. So we're gonna close out the episode. I'm gonna thank everybody that was involved in the episode. We're gonna give a shout out to Lermods. We're gonna plug the fundraiser that's coming up on Friday, Saturday, and then we just have our outro, and that's kind of it. You won't hear the outro music because it's something I edit in later. But you kind of get the spirit of how we kind of carry the show. So if you're joining us right now, you're at kind of the raw, rough cuts of Special Inlet Pinball Podcast, episode 83. Thought it'd be fun to kind of let you guys in our world on Monday nights how we record the show. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it.
Yeah, and if you didn't, it's okay. Then you listen to the podcast. It's probably more enjoyable after we cut out all of our rambling.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yep, let's do it.
All right, 3, 2, 1. So yeah, Bill, a lot going on in pinball as we close out the year. We're not limping to the finish line. We've got some sprinters that are going toe to toe, some ponies that are ready to take it. I wanted to thank Lermods.com for sponsoring this episode. If you're looking for custom quality playfield mods and lighting for your pinball machine, you're going to want to visit LERMODS. Visit Lermods.com today. I wanted to thank Adam Schwartz for joining the show.
Adam.
Great guy, very interesting to talk to. So absorb what he said, and if you want to get involved with that fundraiser, you can get donations in now. Go to our Facebook page for the link. Our Facebook page is Special When Lit Pinball Podcast. Our Gmail, Special When Lit Pinball Podcast at gmail.com. And Bill, what's that Instagram?
Special and Lit Pinball.
So
you can reach out to it
yeah, cut. Go ahead.
in the crapper.
Woo.
All right, so you want to Bill special or
Yeah, so
Instagram?
all right, so and that Instagram is Special When Lit. What is that Instagram, Bill?
Special and Lit Pinball on Instagram.
Awesome. So listen, the next time we talk to you guys, we'll have already done this charity fundraiser, looking for $24,000 to be raised for Project Pinball. 3 hospitals, children's hospitals, receiving 3 pinball machines. That's Friday, December 20th at 6 p.m. to Saturday, December 21st at 6 p.m. Join us on Twitch for that whole entire thing. And if you want to join us at Twitch, that is twitch.tv/Special When Lit Podcast. All one word. Just jump on Facebook. All the information's there. We've got special guests coming in. We've got a lot of auction items. And more importantly, we got Bill Webb back in full swing, man.
Yes, we do. People realize I'm still alive.
Yeah, he's
Someone
still
was
alive.
Like, listen, does Ken have a hole in the basement and like throws down lotion?
Throw all my.
And I'm like, no.
That got a little freaky, actually.
Just kidding.
When you start talking about holes and lotion, it kind of was like, oh,
It rubs the lotion.
little Silence of the
A
Lambs.
little bit, man.
right.
No, we're still alive.
You're
So
here.
We're hanging in there.
You're back. So in any event, let's close this one out. Episode 83. We'll see you next week for episode 84. For Bill Webb, I am Ken Cromwell.
Everybody have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
And don't forget to take some time out of your day and play some pinball. So long, everybody. And then we kind of end the show, and that's it, guys. That's a wrap, man. Episode 83.
Thank you guys for joining us.
So in any event, thank you guys again. Just kind of giving you an idea how we do this. I will reach down to my recording software. We will end that. And the one thing I've learned is after we record these things, I have to save them right away because I've lost audio before like that before.
Nothing worse than a Tuesday morning call from Ken. You know that episode we recorded? Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, hopefully you want to do it again. So.
Yeah. All right. So it is saved.
Nice.
We're good to go. No Monday Night Pinball tonight, guys. We are taking this week off from Monday Night Pinball because we got that stream coming up on Friday.
Saturday.
You got 2 more minutes or no? Got a cruise?
I kind of got a cruise. But, dude, let's just make it a quick 2 minutes.
Well, because I was going to use the restroom and then come back and say,
Oh, you're out of your mind.
I know. I got to go to the bathroom, man. I couldn't get up and do it during the podcast. Or should we just end it here?
Go to the bathroom.
All right.
and
Hey, all right.
I'll entertain for a minute. Hey, all right. So everybody
That's
that's
why we
listening
edit.
still, what did you guys think of that Hot Wheels? Coming kind of full circle. Do you guys think it could actually be cool? Some of those innovations that we were talking about. If we see something like that. Sorry, guys. I just kind of paused there because I'm catching up on reading chat here, and it's been a while. Pins rule, nah, maybe not, but some may love it. Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I think that would definitely have to be a a Richie kind of shooting game. I mean, it would definitely have to be fast, but it's going to have stop and go regardless because the mechs. So I mean, it wouldn't just be drop the hammer and go go go. Yeah, Wiki Jeep. I definitely see like playing that with kids. I could see if my son was into cars owning that machine. So I mean, I think that's kind of a good fit there. I don't know if we'll see a whole lot of non-branded pins coming out in the near future, but we'll see. All right, guys, we have to go.
Oh, we're going?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're
I
getting.
would have just ended. I thought we were going to come back in Moonlight.
No.
All right, so we're going to end the stream tonight. Do us a favor and follow this channel now if you haven't already. Come back on Friday. It's going to be a mess, and it's going to be fun, and it's going to be 24 hours of pinball. And
it's a hot mess for kids.
If you're in a situation where you can donate some money, look on the Facebook page, click the link, donate what you can, dollar for dollar match, and then finally, awesome prizes up there. If you're looking for signed translights or play fields, a great opportunity for you to donate, get a prize, and also get matched dollar for dollar. Yeah, Ryan, thanks for coming in, man. Everybody, thanks for coming in here. That was really cool. It was really fun. We hope to do that again. Maybe we see a little transition in the podcast where we're able to do this a little bit more frequently. But
yeah.
But thanks for being cool, and thanks for hanging with us. And Bill, nice job, buddy.
No, hey, thank you for setting this up as usual, man. Without Ken, this doesn't doesn't function.
No Monday Night Pinball tonight, so I'm sorry. But please save your energy for Friday and stay up with us for 24 hours. It sounds so bad, dude. It's why we do that.
You're going to see a pile of these sitting on the table. In front
what
of
I'm
Bill
concerned
Webb.
about is seeing a pile of these because that's going to be.
Hey,
I might be hungover 3 different times in 24 hours. That's so bad.
No, man, you just drink to the point where you're sober again.
I don't know that happens, but
dude, I've
you drink to the
definitely
point
had it
where you're in
happen.
the hospital and then you're getting sober again. But in any event, for Bill Webb, I'm Ken Cromwell.
Everybody have a good morning, good afternoon, good evening.
And don't forget to take some time out of your day and play some pinball. See you Friday, guys. Thank you.